Hello everyone, welcome back to another video where today we're going to be talking about Ncuti Gatwa's recent comments in Ellie magazine that are really quite interesting and really quite insightful about his take on the Doctor and just kind of his processes in general, as well as his confirmation that he is already preparing to film Series 2 of his era, i.e. to us, Series 15. But before we get into it, if you could do me a teeny tiny little favour and click that subscribe button, I'd be very much appreciative of that. The support at the moment's been incredible, and I want to try and get to 21,000 subscribers by the end of this month, so if we could achieve that, I'd be very grateful. But with that said, let's get right into it. Ncuti Gatwa essentially confirmed that he is already in preparation for Season 2 of his Doctor Who run, and we know pretty much for a fact at this point that Series 15 is beginning filming in October, so the fact that he's preparing in the gym for Series 15 makes a ton of sense. Is this the first time we've had a physically, just fit Doctor? I know that sounds weird, but you know what I mean? Like a physically, muscly, sort of athletic Doctor, for lack of a better term. Is that the first time that's happened? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, it's really cool to see that he himself has confirmed this now, so I wouldn't be surprised if next month we actually start seeing some filming stuff, possibly, which is kind of mad to say. We could very well be seeing Series 15 filming before we see even the 60th specials, which is absolutely crazy. But the main thing I wanted to talk about is this interview he did with Ellie Style Awards. Ncuti Gatwa is the modern pioneer. As he takes over our screens in Sex Education and Barbie, Ncuti Gatwa is making history. This is a really good interview and I'd advise you read it all yourselves, but I'm just going to give you two of the bits that I found particularly interesting about this, because I really think it speaks to his processes and potential sorts of ways the character could be viewed. And I really just like the quote in general. In the past few years, Gatwa has been propelled from breakout actor to star of some of the most defining films and television series. That might sound hyperbolic, but he's appearing in blockbusters, Barbie, British institutions, Doctor Who, and shows that have captured the cultural zeitgeist, Sex Education. He's also been embraced by the fashion industry, not least by Tiffany & Co., for which he starred in an advertising campaign for its Tiffany Lock collection. Though he has never publicly disclosed his sexuality, many have drawn assumptions from his portrayal of Sex Education's beloved Eric. At times, Gatwa's casting in those projects has been dismissed as an exercise in box ticking. Gatwa's Scots. First of all, you don't know anything about me. Secondly, tick effing boxes. People need to be effing seen. What are you going to do? Tell the same stories? Have the same people fronting these stories for all eternity? Representation and inclusivity and branching out, it enriches us all. How embarrassing. You people with your tiny mindsets. Open a book, look out the window, and then F off. I personally love this quote, and in conjunction with his quote recently about relating to the Doctor as someone who fled a genocide in Rwanda, I find this to be an incredibly based take. The idea that people with these different perspectives on life from these different backgrounds can in fact add new perspectives to a character. And that's why I'm personally really excited to see Ncuti Gatwa in this role. I think ultimately showing all forms of perspective can only really make our media better and more interesting, because like he says, if we see the same perspective all the time, where's the fun in that? Where's the creativity? So I personally really liked this quote, and I think it's just such a mission statement for him and his run, and obviously with Russell T Davies as well. He's echoed a very similar sentiment multiple times throughout his career. I think we could be seeing one of the most sort of blazing and unique runs on the show that we've had, and it's just kind of refreshing to have someone that's so excited by the prospect of what they can bring to this character, what perspective they can bring to anything that's unique. And I think just saying that out loud just makes me incredibly excited to see this portrayal of the Doctor and all his other projects. He then goes on to talk a little bit about his own mental state, which is really quite interesting. But the other quote that I wanted to talk about has gotten people talking quite considerably. Up until this point, Gatwa has been telling the story with comedic delivery, but he grows thoughtful. I can feel myself getting emotional just thinking about it. He says quietly, we were holding hands, and she said to me, I don't really know why I'm here. I told her, honey, you don't need to know. You absolutely do not need to know. You're here. Be proud of who you are. I've never met another queer Rwandan person. He says, I thought I was the only one in the world. So yeah, this basically confirms that for the first time, we're having a queer actor play the Doctor. And yeah, That's a really, really big deal. Obviously, not to just make it about Doctor Who, of course. This is the first time he's officially acknowledged that. But it's just really cool to see that the show is still very much progressing and moving forward. And I think, once again, it's just about bringing in those fresh perspectives. But the reason I love the initial quote is the whole quote about you people with your tiny mindsets. That reads like a Doctor quote. That reads like the Doctor saying, England for the English, good heavens, man, or something along those lines within classic Doctor Who. That feels like such a quintessentially Doctor kind of way of approaching life and approaching diversity and the world. And I think it's just really sold me on his understanding of this character in the 21st century. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say. We basically had official confirmation that Ncuti Gatwa is beginning the process of training up for Series 2 of his Doctor Who run, i.e. Series 15, as well as some really interesting quotes from him from Ellie magazine, one in which he talks about his own identity, and the other in which he talks about why the whole idea of box ticking is kind of reductionist, in the sense of those perspectives can add things to stories. And I do wholeheartedly agree with that. Some of my favourite films of the last few years, such as things like Get Out, could not be achieved with just one perspective. And I think it's just a really, really refreshing way to look at things. And to say that openly and honestly is just a really, really cool thing to see. And like I say, the whole quote of you people with your tiny mindsets, go outside, go read a book. Very doctory. I could honestly see the Doctor saying something like that, minus the swearing. Although, maybe Peter Capaldi's Doctor would have kept that in if you've watched the thick of it. But I digress. Let me know what you think about these comments in the comments below. Please try and keep this respectful. But yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Please like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you later.